Movies get survival wrong almost every time. The hero sprints ahead of a fireball, pops a dislocated shoulder back into place mid-conversation, and walks off a fall that would shatter a real spine. But every once in a while, a screenwriter borrows a trick straight out of a real field manual, and it actually holds up. I went through the most famous survival scenes in movie history and checked them against military training and emergency medicine. Here's what actually works. Let's start with fire. Rambo pouring gunpowder into a wound and torching it looks like pure macho nonsense. Braveheart does the tamer version, dulling the pain with whiskey before pressing a red-hot poker to an arrow wound. The principle behind both is real. Cauterization uses heat to seal off ruptured blood vessels, the same thing a surgeon does with an electro-cautery pen in an operating room. In the field, it sits at the very bottom of the list, used only after direct pressure and a tourniquet have failed, and help is hours away. It hurts beyond description, and it invites infection, but it can stop a bleeder when nothing else is left. Speaking of tourniquets, Hollywood used to treat them as a desperate last act that costs you the limb. A hiker improvising one to escape a boulder, combat medics reaching for one under fire. These scenes finally caught up to what battlefield medicine has known for years. A tourniquet cinched a few inches above a major wound and tightened until the bleeding stops can safely stay on for roughly 2 hours with no lasting harm to the limb. Bleeding out happens in minutes, so stopping the loss always comes first. A commercial tourniquet belongs in every vehicle and every bug-out bag, full stop. Now here's one that sounds insane until you check the science. Han Solo slicing open a dead tauntaun and stuffing a freezing Luke Skywalker inside on the ice planet Hoth. The Revenant shows the brutal live-action version, with a man crawling inside a gutted horse during a blizzard. It works because a freshly dead large animal holds residual body heat, and the hide plus the mass around you cuts the wind and slows your own heat loss long enough to survive a brutal night. It is not a sleeping bag. The carcass cools steadily once the animal stops generating warmth. But in genuine cold, exposure kills faster than almost anything else, which is exactly why this trick keeps showing up on screen. Next, a lesson in failure. A prisoner of war escapee watches a rescue helicopter pass directly overhead and cannot get its attention. The kind of scene that should send every viewer straight to buy a signal mirror. A signal mirror throws a tight beam of reflected sunlight that trained search crews can spot from miles out, far past the range of a shout or a flashlight. You aim it by holding 2 fingers in a V toward the target and walking the bright dot of light across them until it lands on the aircraft. It weighs almost nothing, never needs a battery, and outperforms most electronic signaling gear in daylight. Then there's friction fire. Tom Hanks screaming that he made fire is funny right up until you try a bow drill or hand drill yourself. You spin a hardwood spindle fast against a softer wood base. The friction grinds off hot dust, and that dust collects until it forms a glowing ember you transfer into a tinder bundle. It is exhausting and it punishes sloppy technique, exactly what that scene captured. If the only fire starter you own is a ferro rod, you are betting your life on having it in your pocket at the exact moment things fall apart. Learning at least one primitive method as backup is not optional. Fuel siphoning gets its own action movie universe built entirely around it. Done the dumb way, you suck on a hose, swallow gasoline, and chemically scorch your lungs. Done right, you use the air displacement method, sealing a second tube into the tank and blowing air in to push fuel out the first tube, so your mouth never touches the gas. A cheap shaker siphon does the same job even more safely. The catch is that modern vehicles fight you on this with anti-siphon screens and rollover valves built into the filler neck. So the technique that works depends entirely on what you are pulling fuel from. Apollo 13 gave us the purest survival mindset in film history. Ground control dumps a pile of random onboard junk on a table and tells the engineers to build a carbon dioxide scrubber using nothing but what is already on the spacecraft. That happened more or less exactly as shown. The takeaway is not the gadget, it is the mindset. The person who can look at duct tape, a tarp, and a busted appliance and see a working solution will outlast the person waiting for the right tool to appear. Improvisation is a muscle you build by fixing things badly long before your life depends on fixing one well. Westerns love pouring whiskey on a wound, and it is not just theater. Alcohol kills bacteria by breaking down their cell membranes. The same reason hospital antiseptics are alcohol-based. Concentration is everything, though. Something in the 60 to 90% range disinfects effectively, while a watery 40% spirit does almost nothing beyond stinging. Clean water and soap come first when you have them. When you do not, a bottle of high-proof liquor is a reasonable backup. Foraging films love to romanticize living off the land, right up until the moment they show the deadly cost of getting it wrong. Foraging is one of the highest payoff survival skills, and also one of the easiest to die from, because dozens of edible plants have a deadly look-alike growing right beside them. Recognizing a plant with confidence takes real study, not a guess based on a half-remembered field guide. Old war films keep coming back to celestial navigation, and Special Forces training still teaches it today. Find the Big Dipper, follow the 2 outer stars of its cup up to Polaris, and you have got true north within a degree or two. Clouds roll in and you lose it, so pair it with a shadow stick or compass as backup. But on a clear night, the sky has been getting people home long before GPS ever existed. The Martian gave us farming as the actual survival strategy, not a side detail. Stranded with a finite stash of rations, the only path to lasting alive is producing calories, not counting them down. Growing potatoes and using composted human waste to fertilize dead soil is real science. Human waste is dense in nitrogen and organic matter, which is exactly why night soil-fed farms across Asia for centuries before modern fertilizer existed, though it has to be composted first, or the pathogens in it will make you sick. And finally, insects. Played for laughs in animated films and turned dark in dystopian ones, the nutrition behind eating bugs is no joke. Crickets, grasshoppers, and beetle larvae pack dense protein and fat, and they are vastly easier to gather than any animal you would have to chase down. Cook them to kill parasites, strip the wings and legs off the larger ones, and skip anything brightly colored or foul-smelling. A handful of roasted crickets returns more usable calories than a full day spent stalking prey you might never catch. None of this makes an action movie a field manual. Most of what happens on screen still gets you killed if you try it word for word. But the handful of scenes that hold up are worth knowing precisely because they came from somewhere real. Whether that is a Special Forces manual, a battlefield medic's training, or an emergency room protocol. It is easy to imagine pulling off a tourniquet or a signal mirror trick from the couch. Actually being ready when it counts is a different thing entirely. That is the whole point of prepping. Start now, while it costs you nothing but a little time.